Welcome back to Higher Hertz. My name is Alexis, here with another violin lesson video for you guys. And today I'm going to show you how to replace a violin string. So I've replaced all but the lowest string, the G string, on my violin recently. So I just wanted to show you guys, in case you've never changed a string, or maybe you have and you just want a little bit of extra information, just how to do this. So let's get started. So I'm going to start by taking off my mute, get that out of the way. And next I'm going to go ahead and unstring it. If you are changing violin strings, try to only take one string off at a time. The tension from them is what holds the bridge in place, which is what holds the sound post in your violin in place. So it's important that we only are taking the tension off just slightly when we're doing this. So we'll go ahead and unwind it. And that's just pulling the string towards yourself. At this point, it doesn't really matter, but it should just come off pretty easily. And there, you can kind of pull it out of the bottom here. There's this little tiny ball here, which is what is how mine's attached. You'll notice with my E string that there's a little hook here, so it's a slightly different string attachment, but we will get to that. Okay, so since I do clean my violin every day after I play, it's thankfully not that dirty, but you will notice that there's like some kind of like white lines on the violin. That's just from the string wearing down, from your fingers pressing down over time. So I'm just going to go ahead and wipe off this area, since it gives me a good opportunity to get it a little cleaner than I normally would. And you can really scrub into the wood here. You can already tell it's like making kind of a dark spot on the cloth, which is good. And a little bit more up here, especially where you play the most. Some people will use rubbing alcohol. I'm always a bit nervous to do that because I don't ever want it to get on the violin wood. So I just use a nice clean cloth, and that seems to pretty easily get it all off. If your violin's in really poor shape, maybe you got it from a flea market, or it hasn't been played in 20, 30 years, that sort of thing, just go ahead and take it to a violin shop, and they can help you also with the strings if it's your first time getting new strings. Okay, so already that looks quite a bit cleaner. One more little spot here. Get this really clean. All right. Okay. Next, I'm going to take a graphite pencil, and I'm just going to lightly go over where the string is going to touch on the violin. So there are these grooves up here at the nut and here at the bridge, and the graphite pencil is just going to help make sure if there are any tiny little nicks in it, that it's just going to glide right over, and that way you're not going to break a string. So just a little over here, kind of get it over the edges a bit. Just at the end here, and down here at the bridge. And you don't have to put a ton on, it's not an art project or anything like that. There we go. All right. The one time you can draw on your violin, right? Okay. Next up, we have our violin string. If your peg, you noticed it was like really loose or too tight, they do sell some peg compounds that you can put on the edges where it'll rub against the wood here, and that is just going to make sure that it'll stick a little bit better, or that it'll glide a little bit better. Thankfully mine's in good shape. I don't need to worry about that right now. It's always fun to get a new violin string. All right. So we have our new string here. And I'm going to start by putting the ball end in down here. Just kind of goes in and through this little hole there. And it's nice and attached. And then we'll take the string here. And kind of hard to see, so I'll turn like this so you can see. We're going to put it through a little hole right here. All right. And just enough so it goes through kind of to the other side. There's a variety of ways to do this. I like it so that it's pretty much then the end of the string is flush with the end of the hole on the peg here. And you're just going to start winding it around. You want it to be quite tight so that it's not going to slip. And then you want it to also end up coming towards the edge here of the box. And that's going to keep it from slipping as well. Okay, so now we have it mostly in place, and we just want to make sure that the string is lining up with the nut and with the bridge here. And we are ready to wind it the rest of the way up. All right, nice. So we have our string in place. And so what's going to happen is that the string is going to keep coming out of tune quite a bit. One little trick I picked up is to just kind of rub the string down a bit when you're first putting it on, and then it's just going to kind of warm the string up, so it's going to stretch into its natural place a little bit more quickly. And you can just keep doing this a couple times. Awesome. And then if you're not familiar with the notes that each string should make, you can always use a tuner or a drone to be checking the pitch of them as you're doing this. But I think that pretty much wraps it up for how to change a violin string. If you're trying to change all the violin strings at one time, just try maybe even do every other, then do like E, D, A, G, or you could go the opposite way, but remember to not take all of them off at one time. If you're not sure what kind of strings to get for your instrument, a good just basic kind is the dominant violin strings. As you get more advanced, you can try out some of the more fancy ones that maybe will suit your violin better based on its natural tone or sound, that sort of thing. And you can always go to a violin shop if you're unsure, and they'll tell you what the different kinds are like. And of course, even just going online, there's all sorts of descriptions of what different violin strings should sound like. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. I always love hearing from you guys. My name is Alexis. This is another production with Higher Hertz, and we'll see you at the next one.